Hi there, buddies. We can see that XRP has increased by 5% today, even if the cryptocurrency market is obviously still uncertain about its ability to rebound. We will discuss it today because, in contrast to many other cryptocurrencies, XRP is performing fairly well. We'll also talk about Donald Trump's recent remarks during the tariff introduction, in which he claimed that the market would be blown up in the truest meaning of the word, and that as a result, it will also blow up our nation. He was implying, of course, that everything will work out and that the stock markets will eventually rebound. We'll also discuss Ripple, particularly how it has assigned financial identities to over 500 banks, and some other noteworthy remarks Sean made. Regarding the cryptocurrency market, it's important to remember that Bitcoin is currently trading at over $83,000. We may observe that XRP recovered from a decline below $2 inside this sideways pattern. If my memory serves me correctly, its price dropped to around $1.96. Everything appeared to be on the verge of collapse, but XRP was repurchased and it has since increased by 6.5% over the past day to trade at about $2.13. The situation is much the same for other altcoins. They have seen a rather large correction according to the pattern during the last 7 days, and maybe now all they're doing is bouncing. However, given that the fear and greed index is currently at 25 out of 100, I would be more than pleased if this were a full-blown turnaround and rebound. We have been in this condition of terror for a long time, and it is clear that we cannot continue in this situation indefinitely. I think the cryptocurrency market will eventually complete its correction and start to rise again because, as they say, after darkness comes the dawn. In particular, in regard to XRP on a weekly basis, it's not a dire scenario yet. Despite dropping below the trend line yesterday and the day before, XRP is still trading above it, hovering around $1.96. It is now evident that that level has developed into a reliable support area. We continue to observe no indications of a complete recovery when we look at the daily time frame. XRP is currently trading below the trend line, should it break and remain above $2.13. There is a possibility that it will rise to $2.50 or possibly $3. If not, I believe that a sideways trend with a slow drop is more likely to occur soon. I believe that we should continue to rely on the trend line for the short-term price. The key question is whether XRP can maintain that level, even though it might shortly rise to about $2.32. The trend line now indicates that XRP's future is not entirely bright. The weekly period, however, presents a different picture, indicating that XRP only experienced a fictitious breakdown and is still capable of recovering. XRP is unquestionably one of the top assets in the larger cryptocurrency market. With a respectable 6.5% gain over the past day, it has recovered better than the rest. Even though there haven't been any noteworthy news occurrences, this is still the case. As a result, we can see that this asset is acting rather nicely right now. If you're considering purchasing it though, I would still advise holding off until this repair is actually finished. The weekly timeline is likewise unclear when considering Bitcoin. A shooting star-like pattern appears to be developing, and it has the potential to drive Bitcoin considerably lower. Similar peaks were observed here and here in the past. I posted a quite intriguing measure on Telegram which states that Trump's tariffs are merely a kind of market manipulation. What is the Trump administration like? There was a lot of excitement about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency in general, and even Trump during the inaugural time. Prices then continued to decline after Trump issued his own token. The market then fell much further after Trump's son advised buying Ethereum. The crypto summit followed, which was completely ineffective. Trump is now attacking the market with these new tariffs after we fell once more. This is what has actually been happening recently. Naturally, ardent Trump supporters will claim it's all bullshit, that the globalists or someone else is to blame, not Trump. And to be honest, I somewhat agree because Trump doesn't make all of the decisions by himself. He clearly does not govern the entire nation or the entire world. He is merely a figurehead. Since the global agenda controls everything, these tariffs are really the start of a trade war. In the event that a hot war breaks out, the globe appears to be slowly heading in that direction. Then that would be a completely different matter. As we can see, these tariffs are being implemented globally, and the nations who have the capacity to react are doing so. While impose tariffs in exchange, they argue, ultimately it is the common people that suffer the consequences. The typical individual is being utilized regardless of whether they favor Biden, Trump, or another candidate. And since the general public gains nothing from these trade battles, they will now be smacked with rising costs. Notably, Trump attempted to soothe his supporters by claiming that there will likely be a boom in the stock market. So he said, "Don't worry, the nation and the market are headed in the right direction." He said that he thinks this is a fantastic moment to become wealthy and that his policies have not altered. It's unclear exactly what he meant by it. Is he referring to purchasing stocks, crypto? What is he implying? Perhaps he is actually advocating for the purchase of the debt. When there is blood in the streets, as Warren Buffett famously stated, now is the time to purchase. It's also crucial to note that Ripple has a long list of approved banking IDs. That is quite large. It implies that they are simply waiting to turn the switch and that the XRP ledger XRPL will be published shortly, if not already. It's also important to note that XRP is being preferred by ordinary investors over Bitcoin. Metrics from 2022 to 2025 show that XRP activity has multiplied hundreds of times. In contrast, Bitcoin activity has stayed rather low. Additionally, since April 1, 2025, 100 million LASD stablecoins have been distributed, demonstrating the growing popularity of stablecoins. Relust in this instance, we also found out yesterday that if they haven't already, Kraken has listed Relust. Let's examine the stablecoin Relust. Indeed, we can observe that it is now trading on Kraken with USDC and has a respectable volume. It's also important to note that if you own XRP, you have likely seen that we saw a double bottom from July to November. This pattern is currently recurring, even though the price of XRP has increased. If you're thinking about making a deal, you still need to control your risk, because the double bottom pattern will be deemed invalid if XRP drops below its present levels. For now, though, it appears to be legitimate. Importantly, there is a decline in XRP availability on exchanges, indicating that whales are taking XRP out of cold storage. The number of XRP coins available on exchanges is steadily declining. Finally, what can we say? First off, the cryptocurrency market can yet experience a slight decline in terms of percentage. However, given that the market has somewhat recovered from the Trump tariff news and the retaliatory tariffs, such as the 37% tax imposed by China on U.S. exports, and that we are currently in the depths of anxiety, we may say this: in spite of the trade war, the market is acting in a reasonably rational manner. Perhaps we have already passed the main drop. The question now is more about when the market will start to rebound. Will summertime see an increase in the market? Summer is often bad for the cryptocurrency market. Last summer, for instance, XRP was trading in a narrow band of 40 to 60 cents. The level of volatility was low. We can therefore anticipate that once spring arrives, the entire cryptocurrency market may exhibit a similar pattern once more in 2025. Please provide your opinions in the comments if you disagree. CryptoFacts has been this. Take care and I'll see you later.